If you're hearing AI this, robots that, and your honest thought is, that looks cool, but what does it mean for my business? You're not behind, you're just missing a map. I'm going to translate the 6 big tech waves into true operator's language. That way you can have a clean way to decide what you should do first without turning your business into a massive tech company. Now, I work with established business owners running real companies, usually 7 or 8 figure businesses. And this is the exact moment where guessing gets really expensive because the pace is speeding up and the signals become very, very messy. And I'm in the trenches with business owners every single day of the week, and I have been since 2010. Previous to that, I was a dentist and a commander in the Navy, and I bring a lot of those insights into the rigor in running businesses, and that's why we started our company called Abundance Global. And what we're going to cover are the 6 ways and what will break first for non-technology based businesses and how you can siphon off value into your business with a really simple plan that you can execute. But if you're in a hurry and you're time poor, but you want results really quickly and you want to install a practical plan in your business right now, then an easy way for you to do is to jump ahead of the queue, and there'll be a link in the description below where you can book a growth driver call where we'll do a demo and show you exactly how it works and how we're able to get sustained results for our members now since 2010. So let's jump into the core principles here, and that is the fastest way to get left behind isn't ignoring AI. It's treating it like it's some software decision. Most owners hear the word technology and they think tools, apps, and subscriptions. But the real change is an operational one. What that is speed, it's cost, it's labor, it's expectations, and all of those are going to be reset, especially when the wave hits. The first thing that moves is going to be the customer's patience. You can even see now that everyone's getting less and less patient over time. The second thing that you're going to see is that price pressure is going to move and it's going to become harder because someone's going to figure out a cheaper, more efficient way to deliver the outcome. And the third thing that moves is labor. Why? Because repetitive work gets automated or augmented very, very quickly. How you can feel that though, as a leader within the business, is it feels like we've got more competition, it feels like there's more noise, it feels like there's tighter margins and like faster delivery windows. Things just feel like they're picking up. Not only that, but your team seems to be getting distracted by tools instead of like, well, this is the outcome that we need to really deliver. They've forgotten about what the vision and the mission for the company is. The risk is not missing a trend. It's losing your edge quietly. It's just like cancer sets in. And because of that, non-disruptive industries shrink when it becomes easier for them to replicate different parts of those businesses. If your value is, oh, we do this thing, then the problem is that tech makes that thing a lot cheaper and a lot easier for a lot of people. If your value is trust, it's speed, it's certain in standards, you can still win. But the first job is to define what you sell that tech can't commoditize. But some of the symptoms that you're already in trouble is when quotes just take too long to get out there, or you get a lot of admin creep, or your margin leaks, or you're still the approval gate for everything because the business is still in your head. The downstream effect of this is that you'll chase more leads to fix a margin problem, and you're going to burn your team out along the way. The way I'd like you to think about this is I want to offer to you that you're not buying tools. What you're doing is you're buying time, and what that does is give you certainty. So one action you can take right now is pick one workflow that is just consuming your time and measure how much time it eats. And that's the first place that we'll start and look at how we can get you a lot more leverage in that place. So what you want to be thinking here is, how do you treat technology as an operating model shift, not a shopping list of apps? And what you want to do is decide what you're protecting and what you're accelerating. What part of the business is like, this is our core of what we do, we want to keep this, and what are the parts that go, cool, let's accelerate this even further. And if you don't define your edge, then the market's going to define it for you. Now, here's what most people miss. It's not one wave, but it's 6 waves, and they're all reinforcing each other. So let's go through the 6 of those technology changes. And here's the important point. You don't need to understand every technology. You do need to understand what it changes in your business first. And there are 6 disruptive waves: AI, robotics and automation, autonomous vehicles or FSD, full self-driving cars, genomics and biotech, blockchain/digital assets, and the sixth one is energy storage. You don't have to be in these specific industries or these specific tech areas to be impacted by them. So let's have a look at this, what that looks like. So if you, for example, let's look at AI. AI changes information work, marketing throughput, admin, customer communication, and your speed to analyze things. Let's look at robotics and automation changes. Robotics and automation, it changes physical labor, warehousing, manufacturing, and repetitive tasks. So just think even in your business, even if you're a serve business, how much is done in physical labor? The next technology is autonomous machines, or FSD, full self-driving cars specifically. So what does that change? Changes logistics costs, delivery speed, the service radius that you can work on, scheduling assumptions also happen in there. So just think about your business. You may not have all those, but what are the businesses that you work with as well that will get affected by that as well? Let's go to the tech trend. And that is genomics and biotechnology changes. That will affect health. It'll affect health insurances or insurance in general, workforce capability, compliance, and even different product categories will come out of the genomics and biotech. Let's look at blockchain and digital assets and what changes. It'll change things like settlement speed, verification, contracts or contracting, and ownership records. Let's look at the next one, which is energy storage changes. It'll change operating costs, reliability, mobility, and decentralized power options. So one of the symptoms we're already seeing is your competition is changing before you do, and then what ends up happening, your pricing gets squeezed. Not only that, but your customers start expecting instant everything because someone else gave it to them. The next thing we see is that your team start asking for tools without a real business case. Now the downstream effect of that is you invest randomly, you don't get full adoption, then you decide, tech just doesn't work here. And the ripple effect of that is you end up delaying, then you're forced into rush decisions under pressure. We don't want that for you. Why does that happen? And that is because these ways compound because they feed each other and they feed each other's speed, and also they feed each other's cost curve. And when the cost drops in different industries and speed rises, the market reprices what they think normal is. And the winners aren't the most technical. The winners are the people that are the most deliberate or intentional. So the mental model that I'd offer to you is, where do we buy more time? And where do we remove the friction? So here's a quick exercise for you to do, is to list your top 10 cost line and tag which ones are labor heavy versus decision heavy. And then we can focus on those labor heavy ones and look what we can do to reduce the heavy lifting so you can use the technology to do that for you instead. The point here is you're not predicting the future. You're identifying which part of your business is going to be hit first. You don't need a crystal ball to do that. What you do need is a dashboard, which brings us to the real lever. And that is, you need a way to divert value into your business, not just watch the river go past. Kathy Wood, the CEO of ARK Investors, said that it's $100 trillion change that is coming. In other words, this river that's going by is $100 trillion. To give you an idea what that looks like, $1 trillion, if you had to convert that into seconds, like every dollar is a second, then $1 trillion would be over 31,000 years. That's what 1 trillion. She's saying it's $100 trillion industry. This is like massive changes that are coming. So what we want to do is you want to take some of that and siphon that into your business, because there are big shifts that are creating big headlines. At the end of the day, operators of businesses need small, specific moves. Your job is to build a little pipe that's going to siphon off from that big river of activity into your business, and we want to do that one use case at a time. So decision one is ask yourself, where are we bleeding time? For example, founder approvals, admin loops that keep coming in, rework, quoting delays. What we want to think behind the scenes here is, where is time getting leaked out? And where is the time really eating into your margin? That becomes cash stress down the track. Decision two, where are we buying labor that really should be augmented? So thinking about the repetitive tasks, data entering, scheduling, based on customer updates. And what we're thinking behind is, how can we augment the labor that's already there so we can get a bigger bang for buck we've got there? Rather than just reducing headcount, which I'm good with that, how can you maximize that and get even more? So it was like, can I get more juice from the squeeze that I've got on here? That leads us into decision 3. And that is, where does speed create a big advantage? So if you look about the whole customer journey that come into, is it the marketing that you're doing that's more on point? Is it the lead response when that comes in, the speed that you can do on? Is it the speed and the effectiveness that you can do your quoting? Maybe it's the onboarding, maybe it's the delivery. So that could be part of there. You're going, right, where does speed mean that we're adding even more in the customer journey? What's the thinking behind this? Is speed compounds. The faster the cycle times means the more capacity with the same people. So you got the same people, but you can actually create more. And one of the symptoms you see when people don't do is when they don't get this right, and people go, I'm just flat out all the time, but my revenue is just kind of like staying the same. It's not really changing a big deal. Or you're hiring people to cope for more stuff that's happening, or there's more activity in the business, and you go, we need to just put more people in there, but the business still roots back or comes back to you. Or you've got lots of tools, lots of templates, lots of physical tools, but no one seems to own any real technology adoption or outcomes. Now, the consequence of this is you keep adding cost to solve a throughput problem. Not only that, but you'll stay reactive and call volatility that's happening in just the market that's going on. And the next symptom is you've got the tools, but no one truly owns the adoption or the outcomes of that. What's the consequences of that? And that is you keep adding costs to solve a throughput problem. In addition to that, what people end up happening is they end up staying reactive, and they call this volatility just what's happening in the market. So what we want to think here is that as a leader within a business and the owner of the business, you've got 3 types of business that you're looking at. You've got your now business, you've got your investing or your asset business, and you've also got the future business. And what we're talking about here is how can you position yourself that you can be paddling your board where the technology trends are happening, and then you can move in that right direction where the future business is moving. And if you only had to run the now business and only focus on this, how much are you going to be exposed by not positioning yourself for where the future is going? So what can you do that's really simple and practical? Pick one workflow that right now is consuming a lot of time and map it out in 10 steps or less. Then what you want to do is look at how you can remove at least 3 of those steps with technology. I know it sounds difficult. I don't think, okay, yes, but just find a way and go, right, that's a really simple thing I can start to work at. And it's going to help you straight away to see what you can do to improve. Now, when we look at the improvement, what we want to be thinking about in the improvement is how, it could be money made, could be money saved, or the big one is what's the time that it has saved. You don't need a full business transformation, which is what a lot of people think should happen. No. We just looked at the process we went through. We had 10 steps and you reduced that by 3 steps. That, and with a defined time frame from beginning to end, that's the win. And what we do is we do that once, we do it again and again, and that's how you transform your business from a now business into the future business. Keep in mind that just random tech spend is just an expensive procrastination. And this is why trying a few tools doesn't fix it. Unless you've got ownership, you've got a cadence review, it just dies in the day-to-day business of everyone being busy. So if you want a co-pilot in your business to turn this into a clean 90-day action plan, then all you need to do is go into the links below and book a growth driver call where we'll do a demo and show you exactly how we've been doing this since 2010. Here's the thing to keep in mind. The businesses that win aren't the ones with the best tools. They're the ones with the cleanest execution rhythm. Tech for tech's sake doesn't really create an advantage. What does create an advantage is when you put technology and you install it in a way that helps you to operate your business better. And to do that, that installation requires a cadence, weekly review, clear ownership, and a scorecard to go behind so you know, are we on track or are we off track? What's the thinking that goes behind it? And that is that most businesses fail in putting technology into place because the tech gets treated like as a side project. And the side project dies because momentum is lost because people just get busy. They've got stuff going on. What we need is a single operator who's accountable for the adoption, for the training, and for the outcomes. Your leadership team must agree also on what does good look like? What does the outcome that we go, yes, that's what we want, what does that look like? Otherwise, you're going to get a sprawl of different things and kind of go, oh, was that right or was that wrong? You didn't know if you didn't set it up properly at the very beginning. You know that's a problem when you've got like 5 different platforms doing one kind of the same role and everyone hates using all of them. Or your team says things like, we need AI, but can't name the workflow or the metric that they're trying to fix with that AI. What also happens is you're still checking everything because you don't trust the output that's going on. And what's the downstream effect of this? Is you create internal fatigue and cynicism around change. And what happens is you lose time twice. Once in the learning and then once undoing the bad adoption that's kicked into place. Now here's a practical guidelines for you. Is set a rule, and that is every new tool must replace something, not add to something. That's going to be a little bit tricky for some people, but it's going to help you out a heap. The next thing you can do is set a rule where every workflow change must have a before and after metric so you can see what the difference is. What's the next thing you do? Set a rule where one owner, one metric, one weekly check-in. That is going to make a big difference to you in making sure that you have a great execution rhythm. Because the truth is, if you can't measure it at least weekly, it's not installed, it's become someone's hobby. So here's a little hack, is define your kill criteria for the tool, and I'd suggest do that by week 4, that you have a measure that if it's not delivering what you want it to deliver, then you kill that project, you kill that app, you kill that technology. The message here is that the advantage is not the technology, it's the discipline of implementation and execution around it. That's the real kicker. Because the truth is the tools don't change the business. The tools help you to do the business better. And the standards and the execution rhythm is what changes the business. So if that's true, then the next problem is really obvious. How do you choose what to do first without getting overwhelmed by all the 6 waves? That's what I'm going to go through now. So what you do is you choose the wave based on your constraint, not your curiosity. Start where the business feels heavy, things like around approvals, admin, quoting. What are some delivery bottlenecks that are kicking into mind? As soon as I say it, you're gonna go, oh, I know this straight away what's happening. Or it could be something to do with your cash or your cash flow. What we want to be thinking behind this is the constraint that we just went through then. The constraint that comes up to your mind straight away is the priority. What we want to do is fix the constraint. When we fix the constraint, that creates more capacity for you to tackle the next one. So one compounds the next one, compounds the next one. That capacity buys you thinking time, it buys you progress, it also buys you better decisions as you go forward, because that one thing goes to the next thing, goes to the next thing. So right now when you think about this, which change would remove the most amount of friction for you in the next 90 days? If you had a magic wand and you could go, I can fix all this, what would make the biggest impact to the business that is the most friction right now? Here's another little filter that you can think about around what it would be the next area for you to attack. And that is adoption. Which change would your team actually use on a daily or weekly basis? What are they most familiar with? Okay, whatever that is a great way for you to build an operation or operating rhythm for execution. If you can do that, you can then layer that with other things. Filter 3 is risk. Which change reduces the reliance on you personally? That's a great filter for you to be thinking about, takes key person risk away. So some of the things that we know and symptoms that we see that pop up when people are not doing this well is that people are consuming technology content, but they're not making effective decisions. Or they're waiting for some degree of certainty before making an action or pulling the trigger on something. Or you're hoping the market just settles down and then you can plan. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it ain't going to settle down. Right now is the slowest it's ever going to be. What's the ripple effect? Is that what we see is people will be forced into making rushed decisions when a competitor moves first. Oh my God, they're doing something. We better jump in. We got to move, otherwise you're going to be left behind. Yes, you will be. The other thing we see happen is you keep running the business in your head when the world speeds up, and they get to a point where you're just never going to be able to catch up. That gap becomes irretrievable. So what can you do right now? Pick one workflow, one sprint cycle or timing, one owner and one metric. Keep it really easy. Run it for the next 30 days and then review. And you're either going to let it scale, keep it going, or you're going to kill it. then you've experimented. Even if you kill it, you're going to learn a lot from it anyway. What I would suggest you do is when you do that review, document it, whether you kill, whether you keep, so that you create a standard so that you don't collapse back into old habits. And really the principle here comes from Wayne Gretzky, who is one of the world's most famous ice skaters. And that was, he said he was famous for saying, I skate where the puck's going, not where it's been. And so what we're saying here is by doing this activity, you're skating where the puck's going, not where it's been. So if you feel like you need an example to get things going in your brain, then look at one competitor or a supplier that you're already familiar with and see how they've already moved fast. Take note of what they changed first, because that's going to give you some good clues on what you might do as well. Your first move should help you to either buy more time, reduce the founder dependence, or create a measurable increase in your capacity. Because the future rewards the decisive, not the people that are entertained. Now, here's what most people miss. If you want this to stick, you need to have a really clear goal of what you're wanting to achieve with it. You have a cadence of review and someone clearly accountable for the delivery. You don't need another brainstorm. So if you're worried that you're going to be left behind, that's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. The mistake is turning that worry into random action, and we don't want that for you. And if you'd like help choosing your first sprint and installing it properly in your business, then an easy way to do that is to book a growth driver call for us. There'll be a link in the description below, and we'll show you exactly what we've been doing and how we're helping our members to get amazing results super duper quick. My message for you is don't try and ride every single wave. Put your board in the right spot, pick the right wave, and then commit to the paddle. And we'd love to help you on that journey.